If you want to truly understand how Netflix engineers a billion-dollar streaming franchise out of a young adult romance,
Right.
don't look at the scripts. Like, look at a production spreadsheet from May of 2026.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to the Greenlight Podcast, everyone. We are so excited for this one because, it is late July 2026, and in less than 2 weeks, August 6th, to be exact,
Huge day.
huge, millions of viewers are basically just going to abandon whatever summer plans they had to binge watch a show about a girl, two brothers, and just a whole lot of small-town Colorado drama.
We are, of course, talking about season 3 of Netflix's My Life with the Walter Boys.
Exactly. But here's the crazy part. The people actually making the show, they aren't sitting around waiting to see if you like it.
No, not
They're already filming season 4.
It was wild.
It's totally wild. So today's mission on the Greenlight Podcast is to basically get you completely prepped for season 3 by unpacking this massive stack of sources we've got.
We really dug in this time.
Oh, we went deep. We've got entertainment news from Deadline and Variety, some really sharp critical reviews from Collider.
And, some hardcore corporate strategy analyses from the Economic Times, too.
Right. So whether you're like a diehard fan obsessing over the whole Jackie Cole-Alex love triangle,
Which, let's be real, is a lot of people.
a ton of people, or maybe you're just fascinated by how Netflix builds this massive industrial machinery out of a Wattpad novel, this deep dive is curated specifically for you to get you completely caught up and just, intellectually prepped for the premiere.
Because the on-screen drama, all those romantic cliffhangers and everything, that's really only half the story.
Yeah.
The real drama, arguably, is happening behind the scenes in Netflix's boardroom, right? With their really aggressive renewal strategy.
Okay, yes, let's start right there with that spreadsheet logic we mentioned. So season 3 premieres on August 6, 2026.
Right.
Which is roughly a year after season 2 dropped back in August 2025. But Netflix renewed the show for season 4 back in May, like months before anyone outside of a post-production suite had even seen a frame of season 3.
It's a massive bet.
It really is. And they actually started production on season 4 in late June in Alberta. So my question to you is, why? Why pull the trigger on this huge financial commitment before the current season even gets its report card?
Well, it really comes down to a metric that SVOD's subscription video on demand platforms are just terrified of right now.
Okay.
And that's audience decay.
Audience decay. Okay, break that down for us.
So in the traditional broadcast TV era, right, a show would air its finale in May and then return in September.
Like clockwork.
Exactly. The hiatus was really short, it was super predictable, and the network marketed it heavily. You just didn't have time to forget about the show.
Right, you're just at the beach for the summer and then boom, it's back.
Yeah. But in the streaming era, these production cycles can stretch to, sometimes 18 months or even 2 full years between seasons.
Which, for a teen drama, is basically a death sentence.
It is. Because you're dealing with a demographic, teens and young adults, whose cultural metabolism is just incredibly fast.
They move on so quickly.
They really do. If you make them wait 2 years for the resolution of a cliffhanger, they don't just get impatient. They literally age out of the demographic.
Right.
Or, their attention is just entirely captured by whatever the next big algorithmic trend is.
It's kind of like, okay, this is going to sound weird, but it's like an avocado.
An avocado. Okay, I'm listening.
Seriously, young adult dramas have this really narrow window of peak ripeness.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Right. If a network waits too long to serve up the next season, the audience's interest basically just turns to mush. They've moved on.
That is actually a perfectly accurate analogy.
Thank you.
By committing to season 4 early, Netflix is essentially trying to keep the avocado fresh. They keep the production pipeline flowing. And we have to look at the metrics here because season 1 and season 2 spent a combined 15 weeks in the global top 10.
That's huge.
It's massive. They amassed over 130 million views. So when you have a viral hit performing at that level, the goal is to turn it into a sustainable, long-term franchise.
Yeah.
You can't let the momentum stop.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here for a second. Let me push back on this.
Go for it.
If you are the creators of the show, right, and you get the renewal and the budget for season 4 before anyone has even seen season 3, doesn't that remove the incentive to actually make season 3 good? They already have the money for the next season. Where's the fire under them to, keep the quality up?
I get that logic. I really do. But in television, it actually works the opposite way.
Really? How so?
Well, the creators do have to keep it good because early renewals actually give them creative freedom. When writers are constantly terrified of cancellation, they play it super safe.
Oh, right, because they don't want to leave things unresolved.
Exactly. But when showrunner Melanie Halsall knows season 4 is already a lock, she can take huge narrative risks. And I mean, we know this team isn't afraid of risks.
Definitely not.
Because of that highly controversial decision they made regarding the original book's plot.
Oh, man. Yes, we have to talk about the book. Because the adaptation mechanics here are just fascinating.
It's a complete departure.
It is. So for context, the show is based on Ali Novak's 2014 Wattpad novel.
Right.
And in the book, this whole central love triangle, Jackie, the steady brother Alex, and the troubled brother Cole, it ends pretty amicably.
Very amicably.
Right. Jackie and Alex just kind of realize they aren't meant to be. They break up peacefully. And Alex is actually the one who encourages Jackie to be with Cole before she leaves for New York.
It's very sweet. Very mature.
It's incredibly mature for teenagers.
Yeah.
But the show, under Melanie Halsall, they literally just threw all of that out the window.
Oh, quickly.
They ended season 2 with Jackie kissing Cole passionately, I might add, while she is still actively dating Alex.
Yep.
And Alex overhears them. And then Jackie, instead of dealing with it, she just flees to New York City and leaves a note that basically just says, "I'm sorry."
It is maximum messiness.
It's so messy. And the author, Ali Novak, actually came out and stated that the book and the show are now, quote, separate entities.
Which is a huge statement in the adaptation world.
Right, and she even confirmed that her sequel novel, My Return to the Walter Boys, is not going to be adapted for the screen at all.
Yeah, they were completely off book now.
So why? Why do that?
Well, you have to look at why TV adaptations must deviate from literature.
Yeah.
A clean, amicable breakup. That works great for a standalone novel. It gives the reader closure.
Right.
But serialized television requires the exact opposite. It requires high-stakes, unresolved conflict. Infidelity, betrayal, running away. That is what drives viewer retention across a long hiatus.
So it's basically like taking off the training wheels, right?
I mean,
Like the book was the training wheels. It got the show right and it built the initial fan base. But now the TV writers are just steering the bike totally off-road.
that's a great way to put it. By separating from the books, Sony Pictures Television and iGeneration Studios now own this independent intellectual property. They aren't constrained by the source material's blueprint anymore.
But wait, doesn't that run a huge risk? By basically declaring the show and the books separate entities, isn't Netflix risking alienating the exact built-in fandom that made the show a hit in the first place?
You would think so, right? But the reality is, while the book purists might be pretty upset online,
Oh, they're
very vocal,
Ooh.
but the broader TV audience, they were absolutely hooked by the messiness of that season 2 finale. A happy ending doesn't generate 130 million views. Drama does.
Right. And let's look at exactly what that drama entails for our main trio in season 3, because it sounds intense.
Oh, it's going to be a lot.
So, according to our sources, season 3 picks up exactly where season 2 left off. No time jump.
None at all.
Which is wild because it was a huge dual cliffhanger. Not only did Alex just overhear Jackie and Cole confessing their feelings, but, and this is the big one, the family patriarch, George, collapsed.
Right, played by Mark Blucas.
Yes. And the season ended with an ambulance rushing to the ranch.
It's a really smart narrative utility, honestly.
The dual cliffhanger.
Yeah, because you have these emotional stakes, the love triangle overlapping at the exact same time with existential stakes, which is the father's mortality.
Right. It just completely upends their world.
Exactly. It forces all these characters, who were just wrapped up in teenage romance, to mature really rapidly. Now, the sources do confirm that George survives in season 3.
Okay, well, that's a relief.
But the fallout of his health crisis forces the whole family to reevaluate everything. Catherine, the mom, played by Sarah Rafferty, she warns everyone that his recovery is going to take a lot of time.
Which has to weigh so heavily on Jackie.
Oh, absolutely.
The sources say she is just drowning in guilt. She actually fears that the emotional turmoil she caused between the brothers might have contributed to George's collapse.
Which is a very natural psychological response for a teenager in that situation.
So her reaction to this guilt is interesting. She decides to, quote, put herself first. She pours all of her energy into this new community space for the town.
Right.
But then a childhood friend from New York, Elliot, shows up and complicates things even more. It's like a game of emotional musical chairs, but the music has just stopped and suddenly there's a medical emergency in the room. You can't just keep playing the game.
That's exactly it. Showrunner Melanie Halsall noted that Jackie just can't keep bouncing between the two brothers indefinitely. It's not sustainable. Season 3 is really about her taking responsibility.
But is she, though?
What do you mean?
I mean, I have to question this whole flight response to New York and now this community project. Is she actually putting herself first in season 3 by building a community space? Or is she just finding a new, like, socially acceptable way to avoid dealing with the two brothers? It feels like avoidance to me.
Well, avoidance is definitely a major theme here. You're spot on. She's throwing herself into work to avoid the emotional fallout. But Jackie isn't the only one finding new distractions. The Walter boys are finding some pretty extreme coping mechanisms of their own.
Oh, yeah. We need to talk about this. Because this is where the show gets really kinetic. Let's look at Cole and Alex's new paths.
It's a huge shift for both of them.
So Cole, played by Noah Lalonde, he lost his football career, right? And in season 2, he tried being an assistant coach, but that didn't really stick.
No, it wasn't enough for him.
So in season 3, he turns to drag racing.
Which is a massive escalation.
It is. He meets this new character, Mac, played by Chad Rook. And Mac is this drag racer who initially just hires Cole to fix engines. But then he discovers that Cole actually has this huge natural talent for driving.
Right.
And then on the other side, we have Alex, played by Ashby Gentry. He is just angry and completely heartbroken, so he leans hard into rodeo riding.
Yeah, he really goes for it.
He goes to a rodeo camp and ends up facing off against these new rivals. We've got a champion rider named Bea Hartford, played by Natalie Sharp, and this rising star, Wilder Holt, played by Jake Manley.
So if we look at this from a psychological perspective, what we're seeing here is classic displacement.
Displacement?
Yeah. Both boys have lost something that really defined them. Cole lost his sport, and Alex lost his relationship. So they are replacing that emotional vulnerability with physical danger.
Okay, so they are literally trading romantic adrenaline for physical adrenaline.
Exactly.
I mean, Cole is basically trading a broken heart for broken speed limits.
That's a very catchy way to put it, yeah. But these subplots also serve a very specific structural purpose for the show itself, world building.
Oh, interesting. Expand on that.
Well, by expanding the universe into the rodeo circuit and this underground drag racing scene, the writers get to bring in all these new recurring characters. It moves the show beyond just the walls of the high school and the Walter house.
Okay, I hear that. It opens up the world. But again, let me play the skeptic.
I'm ready.
Are these new extreme hobbies actually about character growth, or is this just a classic writer's trick? Like, they just need to give the boys something to do so they aren't just staring longingly at Jackie for 10 episodes straight.
Honestly, it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a stalling tactic because they can't resolve the love triangle too quickly. But a show really can't survive on a love triangle alone anyway. The audience would get so fatigued. Which is exactly why they critically need to utilize the rest of this massive cast.
Right. The ensemble strategy. Which brings us to some very specific critiques from the fans and the media.
Yeah, the ensemble is huge.
So season 3 promises to be a lot more intergenerational. We're going to meet Hannah, played by Erin Karpluk. She's George's sister, kind of a nomadic character.
Right, and she's the mother to cousins Isaac and Lee.
Yes. And she returns after basically abandoning them 1,000 days prior. So that's some heavy adult drama right there. But I want to zero in on what Collider pointed out in their review, because I think they nailed it. They argued that season 2 really unfairly sidelined Jackie's best friend, Grace.
By Ellie O'Brien.
Right. Grace is the ultimate loyal friend. She helps Jackie with literally everything. But her own struggles are just completely swept under the rug.
It's a very common trope in these kinds of shows. The best friend just exists to serve the protagonist.
Exactly. It's like she's the offensive line in a football game.
Oh, I like that.
Right. She does all the heavy lifting, all the blocking to support the quarterback, which is Jackie, but she never gets to actually score the touchdown herself.
That is a perfect analogy. And Collider pointed out that her only major character beat in season 2 was this really brief, confidence-shattering run-in with her mother, Joanne, played by Janet Kidder.
Right, at the rodeo.
Yeah, and it hinted at this whole rebellious side to Grace that we rarely ever get to see.
So what does that mean for season 3?
Well, to achieve Netflix's goal of a long-running franchise, the show simply must elevate its secondary characters. If the audience only cares about Jackie, Cole, and Alex, the show will burn out.
The avocado goes bad.
The avocado goes bad. Grace represents all this unused potential. That short subplot with her mother proves she has a rich inner life. So critics, and frankly fans, are demanding that season 3 gives Grace her own goals and agency, maybe even rekindling that teased relationship with Isaac.
Okay, but, and you know I'm going to push back here.
I'd be disappointed if he didn't.
If they dedicate all this screen time to Grace's rebellion or to Aunt Hannah's dramatic return, don't they risk frustrating the core audience?
In what way?
Well, the people who tuned in specifically for the teen romance, if I click on a Wattpad romance adaptation and suddenly I'm watching an hour about a mother-daughter relationship, I might feel a little bait and switched, you know?
Yeah. It is an incredibly delicate balancing act. You are completely right that it risks frustrating some viewers, but it's a necessary pivot to keep the production machine running smoothly. Because if the show burns out, it doesn't just affect Netflix's stock price.
Right.
It affects a very real place and a very real economy.
Yes. This is my favorite part of the research we did. Let's talk about the real Silver Falls.
Because Silver Falls, Colorado does not exist.
It totally does not exist. The fictional town is actually filmed entirely in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah. Calgary, High River, and Crossfield, specifically.
Right. And what's so cool is that real-world local businesses are actually doubling as the sets.
It's not just a backlot in LA.
No. So Monteverde's Pizza, the Lark Cafe, the Museum of the Highwood, those are all real places in Alberta.
And as we mentioned earlier, production for Season 4 already commenced there on June 27th, 2026.
So talk to me about what this means for the region, because the Economic Times piece really focused on this.
It highlights this incredible symbiotic relationship between streaming giants and local economies. When Netflix guarantees these early renewals, they are providing immense job security for the local crew base in Western Canada.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about hundreds of jobs. It makes the show an absolute cornerstone of the regional film industry.
So it's kind of like, it's like a traveling circus that just decided to stop and build a permanent theme park instead.
That's a great way to visualize it.
The town basically becomes the show.
Yeah, the lines get really blurred.
But I do have to ask, regarding the corporate strategy of it all, does the setting of Alberta naturally lend itself to this American Western aesthetic better than actually filming in Colorado? Or is this purely, a financial tax credit-driven decision?
Well, like most things in Hollywood, it's usually both.
Okay.
Alberta obviously have these stunning vistas, the mountains, the plains that look incredible on camera. But the reality is they offer those views at a fraction of the cost of filming in the U.S., largely due to really aggressive provincial tax incentives.
So the landscape is great, but the math is what seals the deal.
Exactly. It's an aesthetic choice subsidized by a financial reality.
Man, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
So just to wrap all this up for everyone listening, we've looked at how My Life with the Walter Boys evolved from this, organic Wattpad romance into this meticulously managed Netflix franchise.
Right.
They are balancing the high-stakes, soapy drama that the fans want with this really rigorous corporate lifecycle management that the executives need.
It's a well-oiled machine. But, it does leave us with a pretty massive looming question.
Lay it on us.
Well, as Netflix rapidly renews these seasons to outpace audience decay, they are facing a biological ticking clock.
Meaning the actors.
Exactly. How long can a show centered entirely on teenage coming-of-age themes last before the actors visibly age out of their roles?
Oh, man. That is the teen drama curse right there.
It is. And when that happens, will their inevitable pivot to more young adult storylines, college careers, whatever?
Yeah.
Will that alienate the core demographic that just wanted a high school romance?
Wow. That is definitely something to ponder. You can renew a show early, but you cannot stop time. Well, that is a fantastic thought to leave on. Thank you all so much for joining us on the Greenlight Podcast today.
It's been great.
Before you go, if you're watching this deep dive on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It ensures you never miss a video, and crucially, it tells the YouTube algorithm that people actually enjoy this content, which pushes it out to more learners just like you.
We really appreciate the support.
And for all our audio listeners out there on podcast platforms, make sure you hit follow on the show. Same deal, and make sure you never miss a release. And it signals to the platform's algorithm to recommend the Greenlight Podcast to a wider audience. And finally, we want to hear from you. For those of you heading into Season 3 on August 6th, what is your take? Do you think Jackie should stick with Cole, go back to Alex, or just focus entirely on herself?
Let the debates begin.
Seriously, let us know in the comments below. We read all of them. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we will see you next time on the Greenlight Podcast.